Good morning and welcome. Here we are halfway through the week, and I trust and pray that God has been giving you the grace to deal with whatever you've had to handle through the week. If not, I hope that what we talk about today will be a sort of encouragement and maybe give you the energy to get back up and go at it. By the way, just a brief aside, if you look behind me, you see there's a rocking chair. This was a gift from my friend John Goforth, and I just wanted to give a shout out to John. We love the chair. We appreciate it so much. You know how much we love antiques. My brother, my friend, we love you and Sandy, and just wanted to let you know that you're always in our prayers. But anyway, let me get back to what I wanted to talk about today. In Hebrews chapter 6, we find that the reference is made by the writer of our hope in Christ as being an anchor to our soul. And many people look at that and they say, well, I kind of get that idea of being anchored, because anchors have a very specific purpose. They hold a ship in place, not only when the tide drifts out. And it's interesting, the writer of Hebrews says in the beginning of chapter 2, don't let your faith drift away. And the term he's using is a ship drifting away into from the shore and out into the dangerous waters. But also it was a thing that secured it against the storms that would come, the thunderous storms and the terrifying winds. And it held it in place and kept it from being driven into the shore or the shoals where it would be destroyed. And that's an interesting image that he gives. In fact, most people don't realize that in the first 2 or 3 centuries of the church, the anchor was a more prominent symbol amongst Christians as an emblem of their faith than was the cross. And for an understandable reason, although I don't know theologically I can rationalize or justify it, but you see, the cross was such a horrific symbol in the Roman world until it was outlawed by Constantine I, that to walk around holding a cross or wearing one around your neck would have created a lot of confusion. And so what they used instead were other symbols, and the most predominant of these was actually an anchor. In fact, there was one cemetery they found in Rome that had found over 70 tombstones that had the anchor carved in it from this early period of the history of the early church. And so for them, they understood its meaning, particularly because of what they were going through. Because in the first 250 years of the church, there were over 70 different persecutions that 10 different persecutions that Rome brought against the church, so that about every 25 years, they were subject to some kind of intense hardship, oftentimes leading to banishment, exile, slavery, and even execution and death within the arena. And so for them, standing firm in their faith was more than just a theological concept. It was something that was the difference between apostasy or faith. And so they saw themselves being anchored, being unmovable in the storms of life under the most intense pressure, because it was based upon the unchangeable promises of God. That's the way the writer of Hebrews put it in chapter 6. The unchangeable promises of God, and the fact that God gives him an oath, and God is the God who cannot lie. So here's a promise, and God cannot lie. These two concepts, he said, become the anchor to our soul. They're the things that we put our hope in. When we talk about hoping in something today, we often refer to just having a desire for something good to happen with no guarantee at the end. That's not how it's used in the biblical language. When it talks about having hope, it means that there's a secure, stable certainty that those who hope in Christ have. That we know that not only will God give us strength, as he later says on Hebrews, to escape any kind of temptation that we might face, but also that if we perish in walking with Christ, that we're guaranteed the hope of eternal life. And this is where I find that many of us get conflicted, because we live in a time and an age where the idea of having faith is really just kind of a system for getting the best things that you can get to live your best life. And many of us are caught up in this idea that happiness is the prime goal of the Christian experience. And even some translations, English translations of the Beatitudes, instead of saying blessed are, they say happy is. And happy and blessed in Greek language are two very, very different things, because the word to be happy, eudikes, which simply means to have things work out the way you want them to work, doesn't really appear in the New Testament language. The word that's used as makarios, which refers to the idea of joy in spite of my circumstances. This is something the early Christians and many Christians through the centuries pretty well understood, but we're in a unique time in human history where The standard of living of people across the world, particularly in the Western world, has risen to such a level that even the kings of old wouldn't live with some of the luxuries that we enjoy. And so we have this idea that if we're Christians, the purpose of God in our life is to make our life as rich and full and happy as we can, to basically have heaven on earth and then heaven in heaven. And yet, part of the reality of the Christian life, as Paul said to Timothy, is that all that live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. In other words, as a consequence of just choosing to follow after Christ seriously, to really become a fully devoted follower of Jesus, is going to bring into my life hardships and difficulties that I can't avoid. I may not want them. The only way I can escape them is to turn my back on Christ. And if I'm a true believer, I'm not going to do that. So how do we stand firm? And his answer is really simple. God has made a promise, and God doesn't lie. And therefore, what God said he will do for you. I will give you the strength to endure hardships. I'll provide a way of escape when you need to get out of it. But also, I'll give you even that immeasurable, spiritual, miraculous strength to face confidently even the end of your life, with a sense that it is not the end, but actually it represents only the beginning. I want to continue on a little bit tomorrow talking about the afterlife. And I know that's something that, there's a lot of ideas out there, but I want to share with you what I believe the Scriptures says to us and give it as a hope of confidence. I shared this one time at a funeral, and the response of one non-Christian guy said, he made heaven sound so good, I even wanted to go there. And I think that's the whole point, that God wants to say when you compare heaven to earth, even in the best of situations on earth, don't even come close to the glorious wonder that awaits us in eternity. But we'll get into that tomorrow, so look forward to that. God bless you and go in his grace.